Tonight we honor another man who's changing the world. He decided to fight for reform in Russia, to fight a monstrous regime, to get on that plane, risk his life, and fly back to Moscow to fight. God bless you as you proceed with your journey to change your country and to therefore change the world.
Moral courage can be stronger than military might, as the people of Greece showed in that dark, early dawn hour in October of 1940, when the Axis ultimatum was answered with one short word: ohi, no. There's nothing despotic regimes hate more than hearing this word. From other nations, but most especially from their own. We say no to its cruelty, to its corruption, to its constant lying. And we look forward to one day saying yes to a Russia that respects the rights and freedoms of its citizens and that plays a constructive role in international affairs. We know that day will come, and we will continue to do everything we can to try to bring that day a little bit closer.
This morning, a Russian opposition politician taken into custody by Moscow police just hours after a CNN interview aired in which he was critical of Vladimir Putin.
This regime that is in power in our country today, it's not just corrupt, it's not just kleptocratic, it's not just authoritarian. It is a regime of murderers, and it is important to say it out loud. I have absolutely no doubt that the Putin regime will end over this war in Ukraine, and there will be a democratic Russia after Putin.
That was Vladimir Murza, who already survived 2 suspected poisonings in Russia.
He submitted that essay this week. His lawyer carried the text out of prison for him and sent it to Washington. In the essay, he thanks his wife and soulmate, Evgenia, for her support.
So basically, by calling this war, a person can get a 15-year prison sentence.
When it was passed with that 15-year potential sentence, did you and your husband talk about making a change, about not speaking out? Was there a fear that his time was coming up?
Well, we have always known about the risks. The risks have always been there, and they were very tangible since 2015, since my husband's first poisoning.
The poisoning.
And the murder of Boris Nemtsov. It would be, I think, quite hypocritical of me to try and dissuade my husband from going back to Russia.
What are you telling your 3 children about their father and about what might happen to him?
They're of course very worried for their father's safety, and they want him home. For them, he's not a politician, he's not a journalist, not a historian, he's their daddy. They realize who their father is because they know about his work. And I think that they're proud of him.
To announce the winner of the 2024 Global Courage Award for Truth, please welcome Free Russia Foundation Advocacy Director Evgenia Murza. Para anunciar el ganador del Premio al Coraje Global por la Verdad 2024, demos la bienvenida a la directora de la Fundación Rusia Libre, Evgenia Murza.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is the hardest part for me, going up on stage after seeing my husband's face on the screen. We thought it would be 15 years. He ended up being sentenced to 25 years of strict regime, and he's been held in solitary confinement for over 7 months now. So thank you very much for remembering him, for always remembering him and other courageous voices around the world. I have an amazing task today, and I want to thank the OHI Foundation and the It Takes Courage initiative for this incredible honor to present today's Truth Award. In today's uncertain world, where we're flooded with propaganda and misinformation, being silent about the crimes committed by those in power often feels like complicity. And telling the truth has yet again become an act of civil courage. courage that people in authoritarian regimes demonstrate despite grave personal risks. The risk of being labeled a spy, a traitor, a foreign agent. The risk of losing one's freedom. The risk of losing one's life. And yet, knowing the risks, some people still choose to speak up because they have conscience, because they have integrity, because they believe they owe it to their children, their communities, their country. It is this courage that we're celebrating today. Maria Corina Machado is one of the strongest critical voices of the Maduro regime in Venezuela. As one of the main opposition leaders in the country, she bravely raises her voices on behalf of so many of her compatriots who stand for freedom and democracy. And for that, and that alone, the Venezuelan authorities portray Maria Corina as a traitor and a terrorist, a method widely used by authoritarian governments against those publicly denouncing their crimes. I know that from personal experience. Recognized as one of the most influential women in the world, back home in Venezuela, Maria Corina has been banned from running, from holding public office, and subject to numerous threats of imprisonment, as well as threats to her life. The recipient of many international awards for her courage in defending democracy and the rule of law, she's being accused of high treason, terrorism, and conspiracy. When talking about her family in one of her interviews, Maria Corina said, "One thing they taught me is to have a deep sense of belonging and responsibility for Venezuela." This is exactly what she's teaching her kids now. Because a parent, just like a true leader, can only teach and lead by his or her own example. Alas, as much as we would like to, we're not going to be able to leave our children the perfect world, but we can teach them how to tell right from wrong and how to recognize a bully. We can teach them to fight so that they know how to put up a stand, to defend what is just, what is good, and what is right. In order to foster courage, we need to show an example and be courageous ourselves. And it all begins with defending one's right to speak up freely, to expose the crimes by those in power. It all begins with one's right to know and tell the truth. So it gives me great pleasure that even though Maria Corina herself is banned from leaving the country, her daughter, Ana Corina Sosa, is here with us today to receive the Truth Award on behalf of her mother, Maria Corina Machado, who so rightly deserves this recognition. To learn more about the courage of our Truth Award recipient, please turn your attention to the video screens.